Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you are here today. My name is Caitlin Connor. I make mommy videos, lifestyle videos, vlogs, cooking, bread, I don't know, kind of everything in between. So if you would like to join us, I would love to have you as a friend here as we go along this journey together. I have been away for a while. I went on a little bit of a hiatus, but I kind of explained that in my last video. So we are just going to jump into today's. And today I'm going to be talking about going from 1 to 2 kids and how it has been a positive experience for me, what I've done, and just some encouragement. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I have my notes on my laptop here in front of me, so I'm going to be looking down at this a couple of times just to remember what I've written down. Having a baby can be kind of rough, for sure. The first bit is hard. You know, you're going through all these hormone changes right after you have your baby, and so I am not coming on here to say that it is going to be, you know, super easy at first. Even if you have a great experience, you're still going to have some days and some pockets of hard, and that is just so totally normal because our bodies are going through so much. So literally the first things I wrote here were the first bit is rough and I would cry a lot. And I did cry a good amount. My first son, I definitely had postpartum depression after him. My second one though, I didn't. It was such a much better experience, and I kind of had a little bit of a rougher pregnancy with my first, and he was premature. I had to be induced because he had stopped growing in uterine, and they wanted to get him out to make sure that he was okay. I actually have a video on that if you would like to watch my experience with my first son and my birth experience and story. But this time has been so much better. I think I was mentally preparing myself for a lot. You know, talking myself through, praying, and I had other people praying for me too, that it would just be a better experience, that I wouldn't have postpartum depression this time, that I would just feel the Lord's peace and be able to get through that time. And it has been so much better this time around. So if you did have postpartum depression the first time, let me be the person to say there is hope for a better time the second time around. And I was prepared. I also had some antidepressants that my doctor prescribed for me, a really low dose if I wanted to start them if I was feeling kind of rough. I know there's some people that start it in their, you know, last couple weeks before they have their baby because they're preparing. They know that they might have a harder time. I had mine, and my plan was to start taking it a couple of days after I had my son, just in case, because I really didn't want to feel what I felt the first time around, and I didn't have to touch the medicine, which I'm so grateful for. But I'm also really grateful that I had that in my back pocket if I needed it. So one thing that is so special is to have family or a village. I know that there's some of us who don't have family nearby, so if you have friends, but just finding your village, finding your people. My mom lives in a different country, but she got to be here for my son's birth and be here for the first 2 weeks. Her and my dad were actually staying with us, and it was such an amazing help. They would get up with my toddler, help him have breakfast, while me and my husband, those first few days after coming home from the hospital, got to sleep in a little bit. And you know, those rougher nights, you're waking up a lot more for nursing, and so it was so great to have that help. And maybe you don't want someone to stay in your home, but just having someone even every other day, every few days, that just come and help you a little bit. If you have 2 kids, help with your first one, so maybe you can take a nap, maybe you can take a shower, someone you trust that can hold your baby for you while you be doing your hair and putting a little bit of makeup on, if that helps you. Or if it's just changing out of one pair of pajamas into another or into a comfy outfit, whatever it is, having that little bit of help is so important, and it's so special, especially if you're able to have family or a really close friend be able to help you with that. So the first couple weeks, like I said, I had my mom and my husband. They were amazing help, but my husband had to go back to work after 2 weeks and my mom went back home. So then all of a sudden I was thrown into mom of two by myself, and I will say the first few days were hard, and my best friend was my wrap. I had my wrap on me all the time because then I had my baby on me, and if he was on me, he was okay. So I was cooking dinner with the wrap on. We did a lot of contact naps, and truly that wrap for those first few weeks when I was in it by myself was such a lifesaver. As he's gotten bigger, now I have a bouncy seat and we have a little baby swing, and he loves both of those, so I can set him in those whenever I need a second to get things done, or if I'm cooking dinner, I'll have him in the kitchen with me and his little bouncer. But those are so great. I use those all the time. I'm so grateful for my bouncy and my swing, and also the sling and the wrap, all the things. They are just, they're your best friends. When your baby is small and they just want to be held, you just wrap them to you and you do what you need to do. So going along in those things that I've said, give yourself grace. There are going to be moments that are hard. You might feel completely fine and then just kind of drop off all of a sudden. And again, that's just your hormones regulating. They take time to regulate. What do they say? It's like, I don't know, a year till you get your body fully back, like to semi-normal. And then they say like for your all your organs and everything like that, like it takes even longer. So giving that grace to yourself. I am definitely the person, like after I had my first son, there's so many people that talk about, you know, bouncing back, get your body back. And there's a lot of us who aren't built that way. One, I'm already not a super tiny human to begin with. Two, I'm definitely the person that there are some people when they breastfeed, they lose a ton of weight. And then there's some people that their body holds on to the weight because it's what their body is using to make the milk. And that's me. With my first son, I worked out so hard a few months after he was born and just trying to get back into shape. And I literally did not move to like the 0.2. I would not move in my weight because my body was just holding on to that because it was also sustaining another life. And then once I stopped breastfeeding him, I did start losing pretty consistently, which was great. And then I got pregnant right away. So then I'm back to where I was before. But this time I know that this time around. And so just giving myself grace in, you know, not having a body that bounced back, and being okay to cry when I need to cry, ask for help when you need help. That's another thing. I would put this burden on myself of, no, you know, I need to do this because my husband goes to work, and so me taking care of my children, like this is my job. But it is their job too. They're here to help. They're your partner for a reason. And so asking them for help, letting them help you, my personality, I always just felt like I needed to do everything, and I know that I was in the wrong for that. So letting my husband help, again, give yourself grace. Cry when you need to cry. There were times where I would just be nursing and I would just have tears running down my face, and I would just have my eyes closed and I would be praying, and that's okay. Your body's regulating. So let those emotions flow. Ask for help. And yeah, just those first few weeks can be hard sometimes, but you will get through it. The newborn stage isn't forever. And that's also a reminder. Sometimes you need to tell yourself these long nights aren't forever. You will be sleeping again. I promise. I've been through it. You won't have crazy hormones all the time. Those will also slowly regulate. So just have that grace and live in that, and just remember that this stage that you're in isn't forever. There will be other stages, and you know, there'll be moments of hard time in those stages too, but just enjoy those processes. The next thing I would suggest is finding a routine and a schedule that works for you. I have a pretty, it's not strict, but like I know to the time, like what we're doing, what my routine is, what my schedule is, because for me and for my son, that's what works for us. So, you know, we're usually up by 7:30, 8. We'll have breakfast around 9, and I'm gonna say, you know, everything is flexible. So it's like 9, 9:30, somewhere in there, we're having breakfast, then we're playing, and then we usually have a snack around 11, and then we usually have lunch around 12:30, and then home nap. And his naps are getting shorter now that he's getting older, but he will nap from about 1 to 2:30 to 3. And I usually let him play after he wakes up. He will play in his crib for a little bit too. So I'll usually get him up around 3:30. And then we'll have some more playtime. And then I usually start dinner around 4:30 or 5. We'll eat around 5:40. And then after dinner, we also just play, start getting ready for bed. And then I'm usually, after, you know, getting ready for bed, bedtime routine, all that, he's down and I'm out of his room at the latest at 7:30. So that is my day, and that has been our schedule for a while now. And so once I had my second son, it was like, okay, how is he going to fit into this schedule, this routine that we have? And so, you know, when we're having breakfast, again, those first bits, I would have people here, so they were helping. But once it was just my son and I, while my husband was at work, I had my baby wrapped to me, or he was in the bouncer close by us. And then, you know, during my son's nap time, since I am a stay-at-home mom, I would make myself sit down and also nap with my baby while my eldest was napping, because I know that I really needed that. I needed that recover. Even though, you know, there's dishes, there's laundry, there's this or that, I made myself, especially in the beginning, to sit down. And I call it my low stimulation time. My husband knows this. Even on days where he's home, I turn all the lights off in the house once my son goes and naps, and I will sit on my couch and I'll either read, I'll watch a show, I'll watch YouTube, but just to like allow myself to have that veg time is so important. But those first bit, when my son was first born, we usually did contact naps, which was so sweet. Him sleeping and me reading, and also having him in a safe place sleeping and me sleeping too. So just, again, back up at giving yourself grace, find a routine that works for you, but making sure you take time for yourself, especially in those beginning weeks of being able to lay low when you can. You know, it's okay if the toys aren't put away right away. You will get to that point, but make sure that you really take time for yourself. Now that my son is about 3 months old, I don't always need a nap during the afternoon, but I will still make that time my low stimulation time. I turn all the lights off, I'll read a book. I want to start maybe doing some exercise during that time. Sometimes I'll pick up, sometimes I don't. Usually I only pick up at the very end of the day, because it's like, why am I going to pick up now when my son's going to wake up and come out and play again and take everything out? So I usually do a big pickup at the end of the day, which that's just what works for me. But just finding a routine and a schedule that works for you, and finding that before you have your second, so that you can just start incorporating them into this routine that you have. Where are they gonna fit in? Again, wraps and bouncy seats are amazing, because you can just kind of bring them along with you. At first, when I would lay down my son, I do bedtime by myself because my husband is at work. I would roll his bassinet in there, and then as he's gotten bigger, I will take his bouncer in there, and those are great. He just hangs out with us while we do bedtime with the oldest. And so yeah, it's just finding where they fit and what you need to do to get through the day, and just having them along and joining your family in your routine that you have set. And again, it takes time. Like I said, we're at the 3-month mark, and now my routine and schedule are gonna have to start changing, because my baby was at the point where he's just kind of ate, was awake, slept, ate, awake, slept. But now he's getting to a point where he needs a schedule, where he needs to be able to go down at a decent time and have good naps and go to bed at a good time so he can sleep through the night, and so hopefully that I can sleep through the night. But finding that now, it's been a little bit of a struggle, because I feel like by time I put my eldest down and then I do a bedtime routine and everything with my second, I'm not getting to me till around like 9 p.m. and then it's like, okay, well, let me shower quick and I need to clean up quick and then I need to go to bed. So it takes time. It takes time to find that schedule. And the thing is, once I get that schedule going with baby, he's evolving and his schedule is going to change, and he won't have like a more set schedule till probably till he's like 1 or so. So just rest easy and know that it takes time to find your routine, find your schedules, and it is always ever changing. But if you have a little bit of something that you can work off of, it will help wonders. So anyways, I am not an expert. This is just my experience, what's worked for me, but give yourself grace. Find a routine that works for you. Just know it takes time, but you are doing great, mama. You got this thing. So many other mamas have done the same thing, and just ask for mommy advice. Before I had my first son, I went on a ton of coffee dates with moms, just like, what do you do? How was your birth? You know, just ask for advice, ask friends their experience, and you can take little nuggets from each person, and maybe you'll hear something and you're like, I don't think I love that, you know, tweak it and just find what works for you. And you are doing great. We're all doing great. Us mamas, we're out here, we're killing it. And I hope that you are doing well in your journey, and just know that I'm praying for you. I know that some days can be really rough, and there are better days ahead. If you are in a rough spot right now, you won't always be here. There is positivity and excitement for the future, so rest easy in that. Well, that's all I have for today. So take that with a grain of salt. This is just my experience and what's worked for me. And if you can take just one thing or just a little nugget out of this, I hope it helps. I hope you have a great week. You are doing great, mama. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye, friends.